There are headlines running that General John Kelly, President Trump's chief of staff, has agreed to stay on through the 2020 election. That is certainly an interesting development, considering that he just passed his one-year mark yesterday in that job, and there had been some discussions about who might replace him. We had learned through our sources, 3 Trump associates, that the president had canvassed their advice from, as well as 2 White House officials, that General Kelly was expected to stay for the foreseeable future and that he had been communicating that. But in the meantime, the president had also been canvassing advisors about potential replacements for the chief role, and that list had expanded in recent weeks to include Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, as well as House Freedom Caucus Chair Mark Meadows. I'm told by sources that Mnuchin's name was floated by the president's son-in-law and daughter, Jared and Ivanka, and that Meadows' name surfaced because the president has a close relationship with him and speaks to him multiple times a week. Meadows tells CNBC that he never discussed that job specifically with the president, and that he thinks that General Kelly is doing a great job as chief. But very interesting to think about the president's mindset for his relationships, who he would see potentially filling that role if, in fact, General Kelly decided to step aside, although Dow Jones is reporting that he has made a commitment through the 2020 elections. I had been told that perhaps he could stay on through the midterms of this year, but that certainly seems to be a much longer commitment than expected. But really interesting, Scott, to think about how the president is viewing this role, the type of values that he wants to see in that role, the type of people that he wants to see in that role. Of course, Mnuchin and Meadows' names would be added to a short list that had previously included Budget Director Mick Mulvaney and Pence's Chief of Staff Nick Ayers, although I'm told the president was cautioned not to pick someone with a Senate confirmation because those are increasingly hard to get.